Good morning. You know what day it is? It's hump day. Mike. So yesterday, the video that I did live yesterday, I was talking about pain and pleasure, which are really the two driving forces in our life. Everything that we do to avoid pain and to gain pleasure. And we'll do a lot more to avoid pain than we will to gain pleasure. And then I reshared a video I did from a year ago where I was talking about Les Brown. And if you've never listened to Les Brown, it's really a treat. Take the time to pull him up on YouTube and listen to some of his stuff. He's a great motivational speaker. And his story about getting into radio, everybody's got their story about how they made it, how they first got into what they want to do, whatever that is. And for Les, it was radio. He wanted to be a DJ. And his story about how hard he worked and what he did in the moment when he got into radio was one of the best of all the stories I've ever heard. It ranks up there with the lady who did Spanx and the lady who did It Cosmetics. I mean, it's just an amazing story. So Les talks about that if you want your life to be easy, you got to do the things that are hard. And if you don't do the things that are hard, if you only do the things that are easy, your life's going to be hard. So in other words, if you do what you got to do before you do what you want to do, then your life is going to be easier because you're going to get the things done that need to happen. This is exactly the same as the pain and pleasure idea, because then Les talks about, imagine yourself, dead, and all of your abilities are standing around you. He tells this dramatic story that you're on your deathbed and all of the things that you alone were able to do are standing around you, and they're saying, we were sent to be with you, and you were supposed to show the world these ideas and these abilities, and you wasted it. And now we're going to die with you, and the world is never going to see these great ideas that were sent because they were sent. And he's a man of faith, so he says that they were sent by God for you to take care of. So what Les is doing is he's using pain to get you to try to do the things that you need to do today, as opposed to just messing around and not doing the things that you need to do today. You've heard me talk about it when I talk about the rocking chair test, saying, at the end of your life, obviously I got a new phone. Hi. At the end of your life, you want to be able to look back and say, I did everything that I came here to do. If you've watched the movie Meet Joe Black, it's a beautiful movie, and there's a scene at the end where the main character knows that he's about to die, and it's his birthday party, and he's able to tell everybody, my wish for you is to be like me, to be able to say, I've done everything that I came here to do. So the rocking chair test is when you look back on your life, when you're on the rocking chair on the front porch and you're at the very final stages of your life, you want to be able to look back and say, I did it all. And so when you're trying to decide, do I want to take this risk? Do I want to really, put forth the effort to do this? Think about what it's going to be like at the end of your life. And when you're looking back at this moment, don't you want to be able to say that you took the chance, that you did the work, that you did whatever needed to be done in order to achieve your goals? It's the same thing as what Les is saying. And all this is doing is using pain and pleasure to motivate you by saying, don't think about what it's going to cost you currently. Meaning, if you want to quit smoking, people who don't quit smoking, it's not because they don't know that smoking's terrible for them. They don't quit smoking because they look at the short-term difficulty of that. They look at the short-term pain. They don't look at the long-term pain. People who don't discipline themselves with regards to their finances, they're looking at the short-term pain, not the long-term pain. Short-term, they're going, yeah, but I want that coat. I want that purse. I want to take that trip. They're not looking at the fact that a year from now, they're not going to have the money to pay their bills and they're going to be in trouble. People that don't discipline themselves with regards to their health, they look at They look at it as short-term pain. They look at it as, oh, I don't want to get up early. I don't want to have to go exercise. I don't want to do that. I want to sleep. I want to drink. I want to eat the chips and salsa and watch the game and order the pizza. They don't think about the long-term effect of that, where 10 years from now or 15 years from now, they've aged dramatically because they haven't taken care of their health. And they look around and now they're on medications and now their health is not what they want it to be. They don't look at the long-term issues. So remember that pain and pleasure are our motivators, and you're going to do a lot more to avoid pain than you are to gain pleasure. The way to use pain to really motivate you is to bring it forward. So to think about, if I continue on this path, where am I going to be in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? How am I going to look at myself, and how is that going to make me feel? Remember, we can intellectualize this all day long and it's not going to matter. Your brain, okay, clearly I've got to figure out how to do this. Got a new phone yesterday, so I got to figure out how to work at it. Your brain can intellectualize and know and have knowledge with regards to this stuff all day long, and it doesn't matter. You got to feel it in your gut. This all comes from feeling. That's what makes these decisions, is the feelings in your gut. So when you think about, what is this going to cost me down the road? You can't just think about, well, I'm going to lose this. You got to ask yourself, how does that make me feel? And once you ask yourself that question, how does that make me feel? And you feel those feelings, now you're going to start to get the leverage to do the things that you need to do so that you can achieve your goals. Don't focus on the short term, focus on the long term. Where am I going to be in 5, 10, 15 years if I stay on this path? Where's my relationship going to be? How am I going to look? How am I going to feel? What type of role model am I for my children? Am I alive? What type of medications am I on? How much pain am I in? Focus on the long term, not the short term, and use pain to be a leverage. And then think about, how am I going to feel if I do all of these things 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the road? What's that going to feel like? Then you can use pleasure, and then that's the fun part. Then you're like, oh my God, I would be so proud of myself. I'd be a great role model. I'd be a role model for my kids. I would look younger. I would feel better. That's the pleasure part, and that'll motivate you on the other side. Pain and pleasure, it's what we have to use in order to get ourselves to do what we got to do before you do what you want to do. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.